Hi guys, and welcome to the Coach's Corner. Today I'm going to talk about a beautiful myth kind of statement, and I've got a beautiful loads of these kind of segments that I'm hoping going to bring out to you as the weeks goes on. I'm back on these kind of segments now. So guys, the myth: no such thing as overtraining, just under eating. So I'm going to go through this statement, talk about what's true about it, potentially what isn't kind of the good part about it, and hopefully we'll have some good stuff at the end of it. So guys, no such thing as overtraining, just under eating. Now the statement in itself is quite false because there is such a thing called overtraining. Your body does have a certain level of tolerance that it needs to go through, that it has to make you stop what we class as overtraining, you know, just under eating. Now this is the truth factor, that just under eating can be put into a category of your recovery kind of phase, and the things you need to be doing to make yourself feel like you have enough energy. You're not feeling frustrated when you come in. From week to week I see people on the gym floor that goes, oh, last week I was able to do a pull-up, this week I can't do a pull-up. Little things like that where we have to understand and wrap our head around our recovery phase to make sure that we're being on top of our game. Alright? The recovery is the truth segment, you know? Maybe if with nutrition, for example, 9 times out of 10, most people, this is where the area falls. It's the most easiest thing to do, but the most easiest thing to fall upon, all right? It's a hurdle that we find really tough. If you're not eating enough, it then means that all your biological and physiological systems are not getting the recovery and the fuel it needs to get back up in line with everything else. Maybe we need to look at our own strategies. Are you resting properly? Do you have stresses in your life? Work, life, kids, blah, blah, blah. All right, supplementation, you can get, that's a little minor issue, supplementation, but it's something that we can look at. Sleep, let's kind of say, are you getting enough hours of sleep? Do you have like a certain amount that you find that fits quite well for you? And giving your body a chance to really recover, you know? Number 3, now the part about the overtraining, the fact that there is such thing as overtraining because your physiological and biological systems do have a tolerance to them. They do have a limit that you can push them to. So no such thing as overtraining or overreaching, let's say. It's false behind that kind of element because there is a point, all right, of no return. No, you can't return from it. So that bit is the false part for us. The statement is kind of bad, all right, but just the under eating part is the good bit. No matter how much you work out, you work hard, and you push yourself to the limits, even if you have the ideal situations where you have the perfect chef that cooks for you, you rest properly, your nutrition's on point, you have all this kind of stuff, at the end of the day, you still have set limits that you cannot push over, all right, for you to be classed as overtraining, all right? And that leads me on to my fourth part, is to take away that you guys should be asking yourself one question really. Well, you should ask yourself maybe this question but in a different style, all right? Are you overtraining? Do you feel like you're overtraining? Now, 9 times out of 10, that's not the question that you should be asking yourself. The question you should be asking yourself, are you under recovering? If we look back at these kind of strategies, we can change these, all right? Is your nutrition on point? Are you resting properly? Do you have stresses in your life? What's your supplementing look like? If you've got your nutrition, resting, stress, and maybe you need to supplement, it's little things like this that we need to look at. Maybe all of them need work on, maybe one area needs work on, but we need to have a look at these strategies before you just assume that you're doing too much, and just before you jump to conclusions going, am I overtraining? Have a look back at your own recovery stuff and your own strategies to see if you can pick that up and make it better for you, all right? Especially for your systems that need that recovery. So that's on that kind of thing. Even the fact that the take-home message, you know, you've got to look at your own strategies first, okay? Even if you have the ideal situations, as in, you know, your nutrition's good, you've got supplementation's good, you're sleeping right, but you might have stressors in your system like family, work, kids, things like that, things you can't get rid of, okay? Things that are going to be part of your lifestyle. And we have to understand that some of us can't achieve ideal recovery strategies. Some of us literally can't, okay? And that's okay. And the fact is that you understand that, you know what's going wrong, all right? So feeling that frustration, feeling that whole, I'm not enjoying it, things along these lines, if there's some work to be done, we could have a look at that to make sure you're doing the things that need to be done so your recovery's in place, so you're not just under eating, all right? And a lot of the time, it is that number one factor That's the biggest one. It is our nutrition, all right? Obviously, all the other things, they do count towards what we want from your fitness and your recovery, to make you feel like you're not just banging your head against the wall, and to make sure you are improving week by week for us. But like I said, some people, you're not gonna have the ideal strategies. Overtraining normally assumes that you're doing multiple sessions a day, your career or your kind of whole days around sport, fitness. Yes, that's when potentially we need to talk about overtraining and bringing that all together. But for people who are doing probably like 5-6 hours a week, all right, you're more than likely fall into the category where you're not overtraining, you're just under recovering. Think about your strategies first. You have to be honest with yourself, guys. You have to look at what your life is, kind of your lifestyle is like, things what you can change and things that you can't, but be okay with that as well. Understand that some things you cannot change, all right? But at the same time, this myth is a little bit false, because there is such thing as overtraining, because your body has a set tolerance and a limit. So that part is false. The kind of truth behind it is that a lot of us are probably either just under eating, or we haven't got the recovery strategies in place. Guys, I hope that kind of gives you a nice little idea to kind of hopefully look within yourself, because that's what gives you the kind of the self-awareness as an athlete, and as even somebody just training, like sedentary or getting a little bit serious about this. You developing yourself as an athlete or member here at NWK, it's great that you're on the floor, but we also need to look at what you're doing outside these four walls as well. Be honest with yourself, guys. Make sure you kind of have a look to see what's working, see what's not working. Guys, that's kind of my take-home message for you this week. Next week, I'll be talking about the one weird trick. And this is something that we can talk about in our whole life in general, all right? One weird trick. Guys,